Just let me check once that all the things are right. Please check if everything is right. Please check if everything is right. Okay, great. So without wasting much time, yesterday we had this particular family that was your Malvaceae, right? So today I thought we'll go ahead with one more family that is your Brassicaceae. Brassicaceae or Cruciferae, the mustard family. Like yesterday we saw Malvaceae was your mallow family, or your, what was the other name? I hope you remember. So it was the cotton family there, right? So Brassicaceae or Cruciferae, also referred to as your mustard family. As I told, I'm not explaining these families, we have to take one entire lecture, but we quickly within 5 minutes that at least minimum which things you should remember for this family. Coming to the point, these are the plants which contain what you call as products. It may be their leaves, it may be their flowers, it may be their roots, which contain sulfur. So these are what you call as plants which contain sulfur. They contain various glucosides, they contain various enzymes which will produce various isothiocyanates, which will have this pungent odor. You see, when you eat a radish, when you eat a cabbage, when you eat a cauliflower, you get that strong feeling of those sulfur containing compounds. Yes, so that is your Brassicaceae. So they have pungent odor, they have sulfur containing glucosides, they have a racemose, what you call as inflorescence. So that is raceme, right? An example or exception you can say to this is your Abrasamara, the candy duft, or Chandani, whatever you call it, right? Which has a corymb type of inflorescence, where I'm not going to explain the inflorescence in detail, right? You all know raceme, but then corymb has branches which will probably bring it to the same what you call as length. So you have one, and then you have others which are having different lengths of your pedicels, which bring flowers to the same length. So that is what is called as the corymb. But anyway, that is not the point of discussion. You just remember it is corymb. Many of them, they are edible, like you eat cauliflower, right? You like gobi. You've seen that ad of air fryer where what can you make out of gobi? There are so many things you can make out of gobi. So your cauliflower, it is the corymb of corymb. That is your compound corymb, right? So coming at the basic point which we have, the floral formula and the floral diagram, also given in our earlier NCERT right there. So the flower is ebracteate. It doesn't have bract. Remember, in yesterday's Malvaceae, the flower was bracteate. It had what you call as bract, whereas in this case, the flower, it is ebracteate. It doesn't have a bract. So flower is ebracteate. It is equally symmetrical, radially symmetrical. That is your actinomorphic. You may have like some exceptions to this, like Abrasamara, which is your zygomorphic flower. It is bisexual, so it has both androecium as well as gynoecium, right? The calyx which is there is in two whorls, like it is 2 plus 2. So we have 2 outer and 2 inner. So the estivation is imbricate. And then corolla, you have 4. You may have 4, or you may have multiples of 4. But the corolla here, you have to remember that they have a valvate estivation, right? The end-to-end estivation. Please in the comment box mention the 2 examples of your imbricate estivation, 2 examples of your valvate estivation for your revision. I know it, right? So it has that valvate estivation. So this one has a valvate estivation. The corolla of this, the petals, you can say they are cruciform. You see, if you look at the petals, I am not going to detail, but if you look at the petals, they are clawed. So they have a claw, a thin particular structure, and then a broader one that forms lamina. So they have clawed petals. So sometimes the some of the petals, they get converted into stamens. Example is your capsula. You may forget this, right? The androecium, it is 2 plus 4. So you remember in the mustard family, in the length of the stamen, that time also we had seen that this was the example where the length of the stamens was different. So here you have 2 plus 4. So you have 2 stamens which are small, and you have 4 stamens which are long, right? You may join later for some more detailed description on this, but for the time being, you can remember androecium is 2 plus 4, right? So 2 of them, they are antisepalous, 4 of them, they are antipetalis. This condition is called as tetradynamous, right? They are polyandrous, they are free. You remember in Malvaceae, it was Adelphi, where the filaments were fused and the anther was free, right? Here you will find that the filaments or the anthers, both of them, they are free. So it is free, so it is polyandrous, it is diathecous. You can see, if you remember, if you compare it with Malvaceae, there it was monothecous, adelphous, there it was bracteate, there it is ebracteate, there was epipetalous condition where there were bracteoles, here there is no epipetalous condition. So coming to gynoecium, here you can see that the ovary which is there, you can see it is inferior ovary. superior ovary, you can see gynoecium, it is 2, it is bicarpellary, it is having false septum. You can see generally when it starts it is unilocular, but then you'll find that there is a false septum which is formed, which comes from the thalamus, and that is what is called as the repulum. So presence of this repulum or false septum in the ovary, that is what is called as a characteristic features of this what you call as mustard family. So gynoecium, it is bicarpellary, it is syncarpous. The thalamus, it forms this repulum, and it is called forming that false septum, and therefore it is said to be syncarpous with 2 locules, and is hypogynous, right, with the superior what you call as ovary. The placentation is parietal, right? Remember the example of parietal placentation, right? Put in the comment box if you know any, right? The seeds, they are non-endospermic. You may just remember the name of the seed. It is a silicula or a siliqua. In mustard, it is a siliqua, and then there are smaller ones, that is your silicula. As I told, I'm not going to detail. You just remember the names of this. Some of the plants which you eat is your radish, your Aphanus sativus, your turnip, shalgam, what you call, that is your Brassica rapa. The cauliflower, the Brassica oleracea. So various varieties of this brassica, like botrytis is the cauliflower which you eat, nolkhol is the stem which you eat actually. So that is a gant gobi, what you call. So cauliflower, the variety is cauliflower, it is Brassica oleracea itself. Then cabbage, it is again Brassica oleracea with the variety of capitata. Then you have chandani or candy tuft growing as the ornamental, the Ibis amara. You have shepherd's purse, you have many other what you call as plants which come under this particular family of Brassicaceae. So to remember this Brassicaceae Cruciferae or mustard family, remember mustard family sulfur containing compounds is your Brassicaceae or your Cruciferae, right? The inflorescence is raceme, the flower is ebracteate, actinomorphic, bisexual, calyx is 2 plus 2, corolla is 4, then your androecium is 2 plus 4. Here the estivation is valvate, here the estivation is imbricate. You can see the floral formula here, right? So this is not the floral formula, this is the floral diagram. That was the floral formula. So you can see the floral diagram here. So you have these what you call as imbricate estivation. You can see 2 inside, 2 outside. So not a particular pattern. So that is your calyx. Then you have this corolla with a valvate end-to-end arrangement, but it is you can see polypetalous. So they are separate. They are not fused together, right? Then you have these androecium. You can see 4 ones which are long, the 2 ones which are small, and then you have gynoecium, the hypogynous. Here you can see it is hypogynous and the bilocular condition, right? So your radish, your turnip, your cauliflower, your mustard, your rye, your cabbage, your nolkhol, your gand gobi, your patta gobi, the cabbage one which I told, they all belong to this particular family of your Brassicaceae. So give a quick revision to this Brassicaceae, and you know that I have a few questions to ask, right? So today what I thought is we'll go with this human health and disease, right? So we know that the various diseases, they are caused by various pathogens, right? So to just give you a quick review, right, you know that a common cold, right, anyone who has joined who knows common cold is caused by dash, a bacteria, a virus, or protozoa, or a fungus. Anyone can tell the common cold is caused by whom? The bacteria, virus, or fungus. Anyone there? You can put your answer in the comment box. It is caused by bacteria, virus, or fungus. Common cold, we all know, is caused by a virus, right? So your various coronaviruses or your rhinoviruses, they are responsible for causing what is called as a common cold, which is a disease of the upper respiratory tract. Whereas pneumonia, it is a disease of lower respiratory tract. 2 bacteria, the Haemophilus influenzae and your Streptococcus pneumoniae, right? They are responsible for causing what is called as your pneumonia. Remember, typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhi, right? And your malaria is caused by Plasmodium. And remember, Plasmodium is a protozoa. It is a parasite which is going to first infect your liver, then going to go into your RBCs. And when it infects your RBCs, it releases hemozoin. So your characteristic chills and fevers which are there in malaria, that is because of this particular what you call as hemozoin that is released, right? Then you have other diseases caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Remember, that is also a protozoa, right? So you have other diseases caused by worms, like you have your Ascariasis, right, you know, which is caused by Ascaris lumbricoid, which is a roundworm or Asclepianthus, you can say. And you all studied in animal kingdom that Asclepianthus are pseudocoelomates. Remember, that is the only phylum in non-chordates which is pseudocoelomate. All above that, Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophorans, they are acoelomates. platyhelminths too in that case. Asclepianthes are pseudocoelomates, then uske baad sare they are coelomates. Whatever happens to the world, you should know yourself that you are coelomates, true coelomates, eucoelomates, right? Then you have diseases like your malaria, you know, caused by female Anopheles mosquito. Filaria, you know, caused by female Culex. Don't tell anyone. Then you have what you call is disease like your ringworm, right? So ringworm is a fungal disease, right? It is not caused by a what you call as worm, though it is a ringworm. It is caused by fungi, the microsporum, the trichophyton, and the epidermophyton. It can also infect your nails and all. So proper hygiene actually can help to prevent this. Elephantiasis is another name to this particular what you call as disease, that is your filariasis, right? It is generally affecting your lymphatic tissue, so that is a lymphatic filariasis, right? Then you have your immunity. I'll not be going into the immunity, but then to just give an example, if it is the antibody which is going through the mother's blood, it's IgA. If it is the antibody in the allergy, it is IgE, right? Some things which are given to patients suffering from allergy are your antihistamines, are your adrenalins, and are your steroids. The example of autoimmune disease in your textbook, the example of autoimmune disease kaun sa hai aapka? Rheumatoid arthritis. Remember, rheumatoid arthritis is the example of your autoimmune disease. More than 50% of your immunity, they are told it is because of MALT, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. Only 2-3 things here and there we are just talking about, right? You know that which of these cells it acts as the factory of HIV? Yes, it is your macrophages. Remember, the period between the infection and appearance of symptoms, that is called as the incubation period. For HIV, this incubation period, it could be around 5 to 10 years. Remember, that is the range of incubation period, around 5 to 10 years, right? Then you have what you call as HIV's genetic material. We know that is a single stranded RNA with 2 copies belonging to retrovirus, and it has that special enzyme reverse transcriptase, which is going to convert RNA into DNA. Just 2-3 facts here and there. An uncontrolled division of cells is called as cancer, and we know that it could be of 2 types. If it is covered by a capsule, it is benign cancer. If it is not covered, it is malignant cancer, right? So cancer, it could be benign, it could be malignant. When it is spreading to other parts, it is metastasis. So malignant cancer is actually spreading to other parts, and that is the phenomenon called as metastasis, right? Remember, normal cells, they show the phenomenon of contact inhibition, whereas cancer cells, they do not show contact inhibition, and therefore they are multiplying uncontrollably, right? Then you have your drugs. I'll just mention 1 or 2. You have to remember the cannabinoids, they are having the receptors where? In brain, right, and your cardiovascular system, whereas your opioids, they are having in your nervous system and your gastrointestinal tract, right? You have to remember hallucinogens, they are your atropa belladonna and datura, right? Cocaine also at higher concentrations can act as a hallucinogen. The alkaloid present in tobacco, which is responsible for its effects, is the nicotine. And then you know that excess consumption of alcohol causes cirrhosis of liver. Many more to come. Just quick overview, 1 or 2 things here and there, and stay tuned with me, Professor Girish Kukreja. We'll have another family tomorrow and a quick review of something else. There are so many other things to be done in human health and diseases, which we'll be doing in 1 or 2 days. Thank you so much, and stay tuned with me, Professor Girish Kukreja. Bye-bye. And as I told that if you want something to be covered here in 1 or 2 days, you please tell me so I can have a quick overview of that also. Bye-bye.